2CC has had a year that we absolutely never could have expected, and it has been amazing to be part of this community over the course of 2020. It is amazing how much has come together, how we have been able to continue the good and important work that we are known for in our community and among one another in so many different kinds of ways, and on top of it, find new people who are looking for the message of hope, possibility, and strength in an unbelievably difficult time, and who have connected with our ministries here as their source to be able to find these things that they're in search of. We're so grateful for all of the ways in which you have helped us to be able to do this important work. And we're coming to you now to tell you some of the stories that we've heard that have really moved us about how it is that we're making a difference and you're making a difference, even in this unprecedented time.
It was really disappointing when we ceased in-person services for a period of time, but it was so obviously the right thing to do. And I was pleased with the decisiveness of our leadership. And they very quickly created a new vehicle to communicate with us through the YouTube channel and a video. Alexander Constantine has done a marvelous job with the music program. Max continues to preach sermons at a high level that we need, and the level of creativity, I would say, if anything, has gone up. The presentations are excellent. They're archived, so there's times that I haven't had time or was out on the live service period, and so I can watch it later. And I've even bought some software that allows me to take music clips and put together my own little musical entertainment from the music that's presented during the service. I do use the chat feature on the YouTube account for several reasons. One is just to say hi to everybody, which a number of folks do that, express gratitude for the service and the talent, especially when the music just blows me away. And there have been many occasions when that happened. You see who's on with you, you hear their comments, which often are very important to ponder, and it's fun.
Leading up to COVID, church played such a huge role in our lives, being a part of it, feeling like we're a part of a big community, an outlet, a place for us to thrive and be connected to other church members. And then with COVID, being able to take a break and look at where does church fit into my life, where does everything fit into my life, and kind of reevaluate that was a huge opportunity. And knowing that, Max and SHAWN still kept church alive and provided us with space to think and heal and grow and have support, and they persevered with their live stream service, and just being able to sit in my living room with my coffee and really enjoy listening to the sermon and not having to worry about all this other stuff that, other noise in the background that usually goes on with things that, I'm a part of was very healing for me.
Alexander and the guest musicians he has, he brings in just marvelous. The staff here, and they're just very special people. Max, SHAWN, all of the other people who supported. That helped take the edge off a bit. We had this sense of belonging, a sense of people caring. It just made a huge difference, at least to me personally, it did.
Well, I thought it was very nice to just be back in the sanctuary. You miss the pretty windows and you miss the altar area that is so decorative, and being able to hear the music live and to hear the sermon live, it just reestablished that connection that they do. They work very, very hard to keep the church sanitized and to keep the social distancing spacing. And I know there's still some members that don't feel comfortable with getting in a crowd, but the fact that they can do it on Zoom, I think it makes a nice connection. But that's one of the things about church is the church family, is being able to say hello to people that you don't see during the week, and to just reestablish those relationships.
Well, I would say the biggest challenges that moms have been experiencing is complete isolation with the added feeling of just being completely overwhelmed and exhausted. So with the 2CC Moms group, I really tried to focus on connection and reminding everyone that they are not alone and that they have support. We started doing some fun events. We took a tour through an Airbnb events workshop actually of Venice, Italy. We took a field trip to Todd's Point. We also sat here on the lawn here at church and just talked and relaxed and vented, because sometimes you just really need to do that. And we have all been really supporting one another. Many of the moms in this group have become friends and look out and support each other during their good times and their bad times. And that makes me feel really happy to witness all of that. My goals at the beginning of all of this was to conduct a very organized online class following my normal Sunday school curriculum, which included Bible lessons and activities, stories, and prayer. But what I saw from class to class was what the children really wanted to do was they wanted to, one, they wanted to pray, and two, they wanted to connect with one another. And they did like the videos and the games and the lessons, but they wanted to tell others what was going on in their life. And I would say the most powerful moments during these Zoom calls were saying hello to one another, hearing about their day, praying together, and then always a very powerful goodbye. And I think if we stay connected with the reminder that we got this, then pretty soon we will all be back here together at this beautiful, beautiful church, and we're just going to be stronger than ever.
We've had over a 20-year relationship with providing meals to Pacific House, and we've got a very strong team of volunteers. So when COVID hit, and with Reverend Max's blessing, we were able to keep our financial and volunteer commitment. Pacific House did change their guidelines about how food was to be provided to them, and because of our close relationship, we were able to work with them and keep their clientele safe as well as our volunteers safe in the meal preparation and delivery. Normally, we would gather in the kitchen to cook after Sunday service, and that was not able to happen. We also had to prepare and deliver the meals individually, which what used to happen is we would provide big trays of food, and then we would serve them at the shelter, make up the plates as we were there. But instead, we had to individually box the sandwiches and the food so that it could be given to them separately. To continue this on a smaller scale during COVID meant a lot to me and to the volunteers who were just, the minute I sent out the email, I mean, everybody's hand went up. How can we help? How can we help? And because of COVID and because we could not get together, people would make desserts at home and involve their children in the making of the dessert, and they would explain to them what it was for. So, you know, they were able to involve their families in providing this.
Well, I think collectively, as a worship team, our goal was to keep everything as consistent as possible. And despite the fact that we weren't going to have anyone in the congregation, which is like a TV show having filming without an audience, our goal was to communicate compassion, support, and familiarity to those watching us every week, so that we could remain connected to them and offer them something that was familiar to them when they were sitting in the pews listening to our service. You know, music is so powerful, and when we are feeling any type of emotion outside of our comfort zone, we reach for music. We reach for a favorite song. We reach for a favorite lyric, and those things bring us comfort. And I hope and I pray that the music that we've added to the already selective palette of music during our services has brought great comfort to people.
The renovation of the Mead House is a milestone event for this church. It will create an alternative and potentially growing source of funding that will supplement our individual pledges to support the continuing core missions of the church. For ableists, Coffee for Good represents the next step in their evolution as a leading nonprofit organization. The partnership with the Second Church leverages ableists' expertise with the passion and energy of certain members of our congregation to support this important mission. Coffee for Good will allow ableists to scale up and provide training to between 40 and 60 young adults each year. At the same time, Coffee for Good will provide Second Church with a community service-focused mission that we hope will animate our congregation, expand our reach within the Greenwich community, and draw the broader community to our beautiful campus.
Teen Board is helping to raise money for that and start initiatives to fundraise and get the word out and release press about the coffee shop so that we can gain more support and more awareness. The Coffee for Good Teen Board has provided me with a lot of opportunities. It has let me explore my role as a leader in my community. It has let me meet really cool people from various different schools, and it's helped me really be a part of something that's super meaningful and super important. 2CC has really helped me bring a lot of personal values to Coffee for Good. I have learned from 2CC the characteristics of generosity and volunteering and being compassionate to others.
People are now, they've had life just completely turned upside down, and what do people need? They need inspiration and hope. They need to know where God is in all of this. And so I've really pulled from that question, where is God for all of our families? Actually, I've done more youth ministry, more family ministry than I ever have in my entire time here. This summer, in the summers we usually go on a mission trip, and we have a fund for that. We weren't going to use it, so I decided let's create an internship program for the kids. We called it Youth Inc. Youth Inc., all these different iterations, but it was a way, so the kids met for eight weeks, and they got $300 each, and they had to meet 3 times a week and write articles about where to order food from in the pandemic, how to draw certain things, how to do some tech stuff, and they made this little website, and that was a way to keep all of our kids plugged in. That's just one example. We've risen to the challenge. I totally am confident that our youth and our Evensong crowd will continue to meet online, continue to find ways to meet in person, socially distanced, with face masks and all, but you can't stop the community here at this church. So if you have been blessed by this ministry, or maybe you want to start investing in this ministry, I would just say, watch what we've put out online and really listen. You'll hear the message of hope.
One might think that the reduced commitment as being less expensive than what went before. In fact, it's more expensive because there's substantial cleaning that goes on after every day, every service, and other considerations that one wouldn't think would be part of the needs of the church, and we should be aware of them.
The Second Congregational community has gotten my family personally through some very, very dark times. And when I think about reaching out and doing what I can do to help them, it's an honor, because I know that if something were to happen and if I were to need counseling or support or, an ear to bend, I could call any number one of the people in my church family and they would be there for me, regardless.
Now you had a chance to hear from a bunch of us about what this year has been like, and what we think is ahead for our community in the year to come. We'd love to ask you to support us in every way that you can, and support comes in many forms. We're grateful for your prayers, we're grateful for your presence, and we're grateful for the material that helps us move forward in helping our neighbors and helping this community and helping in all of the ways that 2CC has been first and foremost seeking to do since 1705. This year, it's more important than ever, and I hope that we can count on you to join us. Thank you.